Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, May 1st, 2023, here for my weekly cross-stitching update. And I don't know, I can't quite believe it's already May. Since I was at the retreat last weekend, I've been behind on Flosstube. So this week, kind of starting to see, wow, there's Mania videos, year-end or month-end videos, retreat recap videos, so many things. So I will not be doing Mania this year. Stitch Mania is a group that started in 2015. It has since disbanded, but there's currently a myriad of varieties of things that people do. The main premise is to start a bunch of things and be crazy about it. This year I will be doing mostly monogamous main. So my channel might be a little bit boring in the month of May as compared to the other channels that are participating in all the new starts. But I think it'll still be fun. I will enjoy it. I'm really not feeling the starts. I will be having one start in May, but it is not related to Mania. And I'll share that in a little bit. Actually, I might get to share it. I could share it right now because it's part of acquisitions. So I have two things to show that I have. One was a Zappy dot that I wasn't able to show last week, but this is by Colette. Got me this just as a way of commemorating my first time at Stitcher's Paradise when we were there last weekend. So that was really fun. And I like that these are, we actually took it out of the package. The shopkeeper, not the owner, but the lady that was helping us, just to test and see how light it was, and they are very light, which is good for me. Stitching in hand, I like really light needle minders. And I also picked up the new Frosted Pumpkin Stitch Along. The Mystery Stitch Along for 2023 has finally been released. Ever since 2020, it seems like they've had trouble with supply issues for their kits, and so they want to be able to release everything all at the same time. So this year it's quite delayed into the year. The first clue will come out on May 25th, and it will be 10 clues every 4 weeks, so not once a month, but every 4 weeks, ending on February 1st. So it will be 10 months long, and I don't really want a new start right now. I don't have room for it in my plans, but I couldn't resist the theme. If you know from our trip to England last year, we're castle people. So when they released the theme, Castle Homecoming, I'm like, well, I have to do that. So I jumped on. I only bought the PDF. I didn't even get it on Friday when it was first released. Currently, kits are sold out, and you have to, they will be restocking as they can. It may be a little while, but they have PDFs available all the time, obviously. So that's all I needed because I have lots of stuff to get stuff up. So I decided to probably go with this 32 count Whisper Belfast. It's a maybe printed. Let's check, shall we? Yeah, it's a printed fabric by Zweigart. So the back is solid and the front is like cloudy looking. I didn't really have a plan for this, and I think it'll work nicely with the way, like with a nice summer sky on a happy homecoming day. It will be 2 over 2, which is a little different from the past Frosted Pumpkin things I've been doing, but I didn't really have any good fabric that was 28 or 25, so I'm going with this. And I decided to pull back out my pumpkin bag by Quilt and X Stitch that was gifted to me because this is another Frosted Pumpkin. These are all the flosses left over from Under the Sea Club, so I have yet to pick my flosses. There are 2 classic colorworks called for, and the rest are most likely DMC. Let me double check. Yeah, I don't even think there's any beads in this one. So it's just DMC and 2 classic colorworks. So I will be at some point when I have a chance, this doesn't start until the 25th, so I have some time. I'm going to go through my Fancy Floss, pull the DMC that's called for, and figure out what I have in Fancy Floss that will substitute nicely and use that instead, because that's kind of what I like to do. So that's that. I will be starting that. And since my sister really likes Frosted Pumpkin, I will probably be working on that during my calls with my sister, which means my flea market flowers will need a new spot. I've really enjoyed the progress I've been making, and I might as well show this. I'm a little out of order today, but this came up, so we're talking about it now. I've really enjoyed the progress I've been making during my calls with my sister, but she's gonna want to see the Frosted Pumpkin. So if I get a clue, get caught up on clues, I'll definitely come back to this during my calls if there's any more time in the month before the next clue releases. But this one's gonna have to end up like with my travel stitching when I'm done with my Whip Go projects, which means the antique shoe collection probably won't get a whole lot more love this year, which something's got to give, right? This one is so close and so fun. It's also really portable. So I'll share later what my Whip Go draws for this month were 2 blocks from the Victoria Sampler Year in Stitches from last year. So my fabric for that is a lot larger than the Advent Animals. So if I have somewhere to go, like a dentist appointment, I think I'll take this along instead of that, because it'll be a little more compact and easy to carry. So I'll go ahead and show my progress on this one here, because I did do some of this on Friday. This is 25 count vintage cloth in the color Barley, 1/1 full cross. And this was my block I had earmarked for April, which I'd finished a little while ago, and this is the block I earmarked for May, so I'm already done with May's block. But June will be large, and July over here is also quite large. So I'm definitely going to keep going. I don't want to get behind, so I'll keep working on this on Fridays during my call with my sister until the Frosted Pumpkin comes out. See how much I can do on this and fit it in wherever I can, because I do want to get this done this year. This is a high priority for my personal sanity. So that's good. So this is a nice one to just grab and go if I have something I need to take with me to an appointment. Let's go back over to what I usually start with. My temperature piece. This is my temperature Quaker. Just about done with April. I pick my, I collect my temperatures after the day has finished. So today I could stitch April 30th, but yesterday on April 30th, I only had temperatures up through the 29th, because I like to pick them after the day's over just to be sure I have the actual high. And so that's what I do. But this is 25 count vintage cloth in the color Prim, 1/1 full cross. And yeah, so April's pretty much done. It got kind of warm there. And I have these two little things right here will be the last day's worth of stitching right there. So, and then May is going to be a little bit bigger as well, just like March was. So don't shoot me, Carla. It will be a little bit more work, but I think it'll be fun. You got to have a variety of sizes, right? Because it's a Quaker. They can't be all the same. So that's fun. This week is actually going to be kind of cold and a little bit of drizzle and things like that. So May will start out cool colors. It'll probably warm up again. So I finished my Advent Animals Odette Owl, which was my second Whip Go piece for the month of April. So that got finished, but it got finished on Saturday. So right down to the wire, really no extra time. So here is this one. So cute. These are on an 18 count light blue Aida, 2/1 full cross. All the called for DMC with just omitting the border is really all I'm doing different. And this one had like an actual bow that you tie and tack on with matching thread, so that was cute. A lot of fiddly bits down here in the ornaments, but they turned out pretty nice. Yeah, yeah, so that one's done. 13, let's get this in order. And my WhipGo board is populated almost exclusively with Advent animals because I wanted to finish them this year. And I had 3 squares of the last blocks of Year in Stitches, which I worked on last year. And I got behind last year and was not able to finish this. So I had all the way through September. So these last 3 blocks I needed to finish. So I figured, well, I'll do 1 per WhipGo square. What are the chances that we'll pull 2 of these in the same month? Pretty low, right? We pulled 2 of them in the same month. So here's my WhipGo board with the frames are called and then the highlight is finished. So I had all the Advent animals and then these 3 were my Year in Stitches. Those are the 2 that were called for May. But there is a silver lining. Could be worse. They're the 2 smallest sizes of blocks. So we have, yeah, because they're 40 by 40, I'm pretty sure. And then this one is like a 50 by 50. So there's some of these that are smaller than others. So it could be worse. So October and December got drawn. So that just means that later in the month, this larger November later in the year, will get picked at the same time as one of the Advent animals. So hopefully that'll all work out okay. So because I knew this was going to be a lot of work for 1 month, because these are a little bigger and more complicated than the Advent animals, I got started on it on Saturday. Where is this? Right after I finished Odette Owl, we were watching BattleBots and I got started on the borders just because rather than pulling out Antique Shoe Collection or Flea Market Flowers, I'm like, I need to get started on this. I want to get this done too. So here is my starting point on Year in Stitches for this year, because I could come a little closer. So these first 9, I'm attached. These first 9 were finished last year as my travel stitching, and I'll finish these 3 this year. So I'm gonna try to do all the borders first, since this is the 2 outside ones that need to get worked on. There's only be like a little bit here that's not technically part of the 2 that I'm gonna work on. So I'll just do all the border, get that all done, and then I think I'm gonna color complete in both at the same time. So if there's white in both, I'll do white in both, and then I'll pick another color and do it in both. And I'm hoping that'll help it go a little faster, especially if there's little bits of a color in both of them. Then I'll have that on my needle, do a few stitches here, a few stitches there, and then put it away. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to do. This is 28 count Dove Gray Monaco, mostly 2/2 full cross. There is a little bit of 1/1 and a little bit of specialty stitches that are 1 or 2 strands depending on what they are. So, and I am doing my own colors because this is what they call the Creative Designs chart. It was a freebie on their Facebook group last year, but now it is available for sale on their website as a PDF in the Creative Designs section. If you're interested in trying a Victoria sampler, trying specialty stitches, they have a series of patterns on their Facebook group regularly that they put out that you can download for free. And then once the year is over, or the season, I think it's usually a year, but then they'll take them off of Facebook and then sell them in their Facebook group, in their actual shop. So if you're interested in just trying something like that, go over to join their Facebook group and try those free patterns, just in case you end up not liking it, then you're not out any money. But if you do like it, there's a lot more, a big, deep rabbit hole you can jump down if you want to, because their patterns are really fun. So I don't know, I think that's everything. I did not work on my, oh, I forgot to bring it, even after I thought about it. I'm not going to work on my mill hill this week, and I did not work on it this past week either. I was going to work on it today, but it occurred to me right before I started filming that today's the 1st, and I'm supposed to work on Finery of Nature for a little bit of time. So I'm going to go get that and come back and show you where I'm... Actually, I'm not going to bother. I have limited time today. I'm going to put a picture in of where I was at my last video. That's my starting point. And I will hopefully do a thread or two on that one. I'm thinking there's some pink flowers in the top little bit that I'll work on. So that's my plan for this afternoon if I have any time. Then let's see, I think that's all the travel stitching that I did. So last week, supposed to work on Dragon Ride for my Family Monday piece. I ended up having 0 bonus time in that afternoon because my kids had a dentist appointment that took a lot longer than I expected. So I worked on Odette Owl a lot in the dentist office, but I didn't get to my mill hill at all. And when I got home, I started to do some backstitching in the border and then realized I was using the wrong color because there's 3 different colors of backstitching in the border, and I interpreted the wording of the backstitching instructions incorrectly the first time. Teresa Wentzler for you. So I decided to go ahead and take it out because I would know it was slightly different right there. And then throughout the rest of the week, I kept this out for bonus stitching because I was really struggling to find time to have bonus stitching, and I wanted to get some back stitching done on this because I felt like if I didn't, it would be neglected, and I didn't want to do that. So I didn't get to my fairy at all this week, but I did get some time on Dragon Ride, just a little bit. So this is by Teresa Wentzler. This is 28 count, light blue even weave by MCG Textiles, mostly 2/2. The man started 1/1, and then this time I did the back stitching on this half of the border on those ropes. So apparently there's back stitching around these darker bits, these straight borders. It's one color. There's back stitching around these ropes, which is a second color, and then there's back stitching a 2-stranded blended back stitch. This like twisty stuff, third color. That one was obvious to know which one it was because it's a 2-strand blend, really easy. But when they said inner and outer parts of border, I thought that was the right color. But then later I was looking at it again, I don't know why even, and it said twisting ropes of border. I'm like, really? I didn't even see that before. So there's 3 different colors of back stitching, but I at least got a little bit done and I feel good about that, especially with the way my plans are shaping up for the month of May. I wanted to make sure I got to this. So I did. Slowly but surely. And then most of the week I worked on April Fairy, which was really fun. This is the Heaven and Earth Designs artwork by Hannah Lynn. And I'm doing this in like a stitch by stitch diagonal method. I do have a video that I made a while back that you can find in the demos and tutorials playlist on my channel if you want to see how I'm doing this. I found, especially because I stitch in hand, I think that's a big part of it, but the way this method works, I found once I got into it, getting into it was sometimes hard because I was distracted by so many other things, but once I started stitching, I didn't want to stop because of the way I'm holding my fabric and rethreading my needle constantly. It was like I didn't want to put it down because then I'd have to kind of redo my my hands and where everything was going. So it was like, it was easier to just keep going than stop. So it was nice. I didn't get as much done as I would on like a half stitch project, but I got a decent amount. I got a total of 516 stitches this week. So not a lot, but I didn't expect to get much more than that because this is a full cross project and it's a little bit slower. Although, like I said, once I got into it, it was fun to just kind of keep going. So there were a couple days I got less than 100, but then 3 days where I got a little more than 100. So it all kind of evened out to be about 100 stitches a day. So got most of this diagonal finished, so that's nice. And this is 28 count Rose Monaco 1/1 full cross. So slowly but surely, I'm working on that one. Still just up in her hair, but it's very enjoyable. So that was fun to work on. Work on April Fairy in April. And then on Sunday, I worked on my Quaker, and I also worked on Spring Montage for seasonal Sunday stitching. This is by Pain Free Crafts, artwork by Janet Stever. I'm up here in the cherry blossom branch, kind of just right over here. And I got probably, I think, my most stitches of the month on one particular day. So it was a good stitchy day. I forgot to look at how many total stitches I did on this throughout the month. So I'll have to figure that out and maybe put it on the screen. Here is where I got to. This is 28 count Mushroom Lugana 1/1 full cross. So again, because it's a full cross, it's not quite as fast, but I felt like these montages with the way they were drawn, a full cross would be nice. So I am completing it, picking symbols block by block. So I think there's a good 4 or 5 blocks now that are finished along the top, which is nice. And I have a lot of scattered stitches around here some more because they were on my needle. More of this top border is filled in here. So nothing too extraordinarily exciting, but it's something. And it's more than I had before. I will be putting this away probably until next spring because I have a different spring piece I will be working on Sundays in May. Let's see. I think that's actually all that I worked on. So we can talk into plans. So my mostly monogamous May plans, I had this plan from the very beginning of the year and I think I'm going to stick with it. I'm definitely feeling more like making progress on my projects over starting new things. So I want to keep this in here, even though it'll be a little boring for you guys. And my original intent, I think, was that this might get finished if I gave it a full 3 weeks. But I don't know what I was thinking because that's not going to happen. But it is literally the Pattern Keeper. I had a list that I made up last year of everything I have in Pattern Keeper that's sorted by how many stitches it has left. One is His Name is Jesus, was very close to finishing. Knitting Woman is done now. So the next one on the list is Cupcake Dreams, and that's what I'm going to work on here in the month of May. Tilton Crafts freebie. I don't know if it's currently on the website. They redid their website after I got this, and they didn't put their freebies back on. But if you're interested in this, maybe email them. I haven't looked recently to see if it's back. But this was a freebie on the Tilton Crafts website back in the day. And I have 9,843 stitches left, so yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. What might be a possibility. I've had to do over 3,000, I think it was 3,281 stitches per week to get it done. And that's not realistic at all. But I think I have a possibility that I might be able to get half of that done in the 3 weeks. So then maybe next year I can do another mostly monogamous May and maybe finish it. So we will see. So this one is a full coverage, no background. So it gets the 2 weeks for my focus for a finished piece plus a week for my full coverage, no background, which works nicely for the month of May since you could do a mostly monogamous May. I will be also working on a full coverage at the end of the month, cat alphabet, that's the plan. And maybe Mayday Merriment, my Joan Elliott piece at the very end. There's a few extra days at the end of the month. If I don't finish my Letter Fairy. The Letter Fairy is top priority for finishing this month. So if I don't get that done, those extra days at the end of the month will be Letter Fairy. But if I have time, I'll work on Mayday Merriment. So that'll kind of be a wait and see at the end. Because it's May, so it'll be fun to work on that one. So here is this one, my starting point. Let's get this white here. This is on like a 28 count, kind of a mint green fabric. And this is the bottom. This is like literally how big it is. This is an 8.5 by 11 folder, and it goes to like here. So it's very small. I'm not stitching the background. It was charted for plain white in the background. No, thank you. So I put on this mint green fabric, which I think is just perfect. I already have like the top row, technically, was like right here, completely finished. And I was choosing symbols that way. I think going forward, I was looking it up last night to see what would it take to color complete. Would I need to do the most used color first in order to color complete? Or could I still do symbol picking and color complete? Because some of these I didn't want to do because they were up here in the strawberries and then like way down here in like another strawberry that's down here. And I didn't want to count that far and be wrong. But I noticed one of these next colors along here is not the most used color, but a very highly used color. And it would be used like in the cupcake wrapper or something as well. So I could, I think, do that next highest color, color complete it, and then color complete everything else that I come to. And I think that'll hopefully speed it up a little bit, and we'll see how I can do. Yeah, it's definitely greener than it's showing, but that's okay. Yeah, so that's my main piece for May. So I'll be working on this 5 days this week, starting tomorrow. And then every Monday, instead of my regular family pieces, I will be being monogamous on my Letter Fairy for all my family Mondays. So I'm giving it a full day. Oh, I didn't bring that one either. Man, I'm not really prepared today, apparently. I'm probably not going to, oh no, that's going forward. I think for this one, I'll give it all my regular stitching on Mondays. And if I have time for bonus stitching throughout the week, it will also be this one because I really need this done this month. So this is where this one is. No progress since last time, but I need a before. So here's this one, 32 count water lily linen, 2/2 full cross. There's not a whole lot left. I just need to work on it. And I really don't have a lot of time to have bonus stitching projects at all, really. And especially certain times of the year, it's just not feasible. So I think going forward into June and the rest of the year, I might need to change and not have bonus stitching unless it's a special day. Like the Finery of Nature sale on the 1st of the month. And I'm actually gonna maybe work on Visit Endor on Thursday. May the 4th be with you. I'll put a picture into my current progress on that one by Country Magic Stitch. I might do a length of thread on that one on Thursday as bonus stitching, and then get back to Cupcake Dreams later on. But other than that, I think going forward into June, I think I need to have my future Letter Fairies have a full day every week and not do bonus stitching because I'm just not getting to it. I feel like my days get busy and I end up not wanting to work on a second project because then I feel like I won't get to work on my main project that day and the bonus project just doesn't get worked on. So I'll only then have 4 days on my main project for the week instead of 5. but I won't have to compete with a bonus project. So if I have extra time in the afternoon, I'll just get an earlier start on my main piece on the 4 days that I do have. So it might be a wash and might be fine. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. But I think starting in June, I'll do it that way. Here in May, because I need to finish that letter fairy, I will go ahead and continue with it with bonus stitching plus a full day every Monday until it's done. So like I was saying, with my these last 3 days here in May, I'm gonna reserve them for letter fairy if needed, and if not needed, if I have it finished, I'll go ahead and work on Mayday Merriment by Joan Elliott, which I'll show later if it comes to that. My Sunday stitch is going to be a fun one this year because I haven't not pulled this out yet, but this is my Lavender and Lace Celtic Ladies collage that I put together. So I was gifted all of the patterns by Belinda, Aussie Stitcher. Thank you very much. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm already doing the Mirabilia Queens. I don't really want to do the whole dresses because it's a lot of time for doing 2 sets of full Fancy Lady Queens. But then I got the idea to do a little collage of just the head and shoulders areas. Not really head and shoulders, head to hips, I guess. So then you get whatever they're holding, and it's not as stitch heavy as their dress is. Plus the words that go with each season and a little bit of the embellishments that they use in the border, but not the entire borders. So, because like this is the example of the original winter one. It's got lots of extra borders. So I'm just doing little bits of the borders, and I do have this available to share if you email me. A lot of you have already gotten it, where I just kind of put the outline of where everything goes. Nothing is actually charted because you need to have the patterns to do it. But if you have the patterns, you can just, I have like basically a structure that you can kind of put in where they should go. So I will give this the Sundays in May, only the spring quadrant. So that's the one I'll work on. And I have the other ones fitted for other months throughout the year. So this will be spring only. And I have, I think, a little start on every month, yeah, or every season. This is a little see-through, but this is the starting point I have. It's 32 count lamb's wool linen, 2/2 full cross, and I'll do a little closer for spring. So spring looks like it actually has the most done already, which is cool. So I'll finish these letters, and I'll probably start working on the girl and maybe some of these medallions. So there'll be, I'm hoping, some good progress throughout the month of May. So we'll see what I get to this Sunday. And that's it. Not a lot of variety, but that's kind of what happens when it's mostly monogamous. So I have one family piece, one seasonal piece, one regular focus project. At the end of the month, I will be throwing in Cat Alphabet and Mayday Merriment. So that's why it's mostly monogamous, as well as the fact that I'm not doing one for all of my focus stitching. There will be, some variety. This is me, by the way. And of course, all my travel stitching. So, yeah, I think that's everything. So hopefully you enjoy what you're working on, however you're planning to tackle the month of May, whether that's one piece, lots of pieces, new starts, regular works in progress. Have fun with it and enjoy what you're working on, and happy stitching. Bye.